11 years ago, Steve Kerr, then an NBA TV analyst, was speaking with Bill Russell. Kerr asked him, how much would he score in today's game? And Russell said, maybe 10, 12 points. Kerr said, that's it? To which Russell said, well, I am 77. Russell, on the Titan of the Mount Rushmore of NBA legends, died this morning at age 88. He was the greatest winner in sports, 11 NBA titles in a 13-year career, including 8 in a row as a player. League's first black player, coach, and trailblazer.
He was a winner everywhere he went.
Russell's winning started in high school, led McClymonds to 2 state titles. Then it was off to USF, where he led the Dons to 55 straight wins and back-to-back national championships. He played 13 seasons in the NBA, won 11 titles with the Boston Celtics, the last 2 as the league's first player coach.
He was a leader, but he was a quiet leader. He didn't yell at you. He didn't bark commands out there on the court.
Longtime Warriors broadcaster Jim Barnett was drafted by the Celtics in 1966. He played 1 season alongside Russell. How long was it before he actually called you Jim?
I think mostly it was Barnett during that rookie season.
And Barnett quickly learned how to play the Russell way.
I remember him getting on me. We were winning by 30 against the New York Knicks one time, my rookie year, middle of the season. And I came in and got a few baskets and everything, but I wasn't playing anybody. It was, the game was essentially over with about 4 minutes to go. We're winning by 30. And he called a timeout. Went to the huddle. He said, number 11, that was me. Who are you guarding out there? Because he wanted to make a point that no matter we're going to win the game, you got to play the right way.
Russell tried to play the right way off the court, too. Senior NBA writer Mark Spears spent the day talking to people about Russell's impact. This from Dr. Harry Edwards.
He was just saying that you never say never in sports, but he will say there will never be an icon like Bill Russell. And I certainly agree with that.
Russell used his platform to become a key voice for African Americans and was quick to call out racial injustices like this one in Marion, Indiana.
After playing the game, driving in on a bus, playing a game in 1961, and getting the key to the city, and then they go back to the hotel and they're not able to stay there with the other white players. And Bill Russell goes and wakes up the mayor in the middle of the night at 2 or 3 in the morning and gives him back the key to the city.
Russell was the first black player inducted to basketball's Hall of Fame, but he boycotted the ceremony.
He didn't like about the lack of African-American basketball pioneers that weren't there, guys that came up before him. He basically felt like the organization that is the Hall of Fame today was a racist one. And so he didn't show up. And it took some time for the Hall of Fame to kind of like gain his favor again. And they gave him a second Hall of Fame induction. Like, who gets that? Bill Russell. I talked to John DeLeva today, who's the president and CEO of the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. And he said the last words that Bill Russell gave him last year during the ceremony was, you're not done yet. There are more African-American pioneers that you guys need to add. He kneeled with Kaepernick, right? He wore a T-shirt last year that said Stop Asian Hate, and he had a Kobe Bryant hat on. So even when he was advancing in age, his last days, he was still trying to speak out.
Bill Russell can reflect with pride on helping change the culture of a sport and the course of our nation.
He stood 6'9" in his prime, but it felt like he was larger than that when he entered a room.
The greatest of NBA players would kind of just become little boys in his presence.
Thank you for everything, man. Thank you. I hope we made you proud, man. You sure did.
He sat at a table privately with Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Ben Wallace, and Chris Webber, and told stories for a couple hours. And those 4 guys, they ain't shy. They don't shut up. But they shut up listening to this GOAT.
Congratulations, Warriors. Enjoy it. Next year, the Celtics will be back.
The finals MVP trophy is named in his honor. And in 2017, he was presented with the NBA's Lifetime Achievement Award.
I would kick your
His battles with Wilt Chamberlain were legendary. They played 143 games against each other.
They were ferocious matchups. They were compelling matchups. I remember a lot about it, and bending the rim. In those days, they didn't have the breakaway rims, and you had to call timeout and somebody come on a ladder and bend the rim back up because Russell would block the shot of Wilt, and it was a dunk, and they'd both go into the rim, and then pretty soon gravity took over.
While Russell got the better of Wilt, there was one person he couldn't beat.
Johnny Mathis. Do you know Johnny Mathis?
Oh, of course, the great crooner. Music legend and former San Francisco State Gator, Johnny Mathis.
Satch Sanders, the Celtics great, tells me the story that he beat Bill Russell in college in a long jump. Johnny Mathis. And so Satch said that every time they would go to LA and he would hang out with Bill Russ, Mr. Russell, he'd say, well, they called him Russ, I didn't. Hey, let's go to Johnny Mathis's house. And my mom let him Johnny Mathis Christmas albums, man, right? So they would go to Johnny Mathis's house, and all Mathis would do was give him a hard time about how he beat him in the long jump.
William Felton Russell was 88 years old.
The captain himself and the greatest player to ever play the game, Bill Russell.